Ma'am.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Recovery Scene. I'm your host, Leslie Klepek. Make sure that you, of course, like and subscribe. Tonight, I'm really excited. I've been waiting for this interview. I have Terrance McKinney. He is, and correct me if I'm wrong, all right, Terrance, if I get any of this wrong, he is a serious up-and-comer in the UFC area, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
And he has the fastest knockout.
Yeah, fastest knockout in the lightweight division.
7 seconds. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's really cool. And he has one heck of a story to tell us about how he changed his life. So we're definitely going to spread a little hope tonight. And I'm really, really excited. Terrance, thank you so much for being on the show and just agreeing to come on here and share your strength and hope and just how you changed your life.
Yeah, couldn't have did it without God. That's my main source right there.
That's right. That's right. So take us from the beginning, like growing up, what was that like?
I grew up with my grandma because my mom was trying to better her life. So she joined the army. I was born in Chicago, and I pretty much grew up like my childhood with my grandma with like 11 other kids. So like food was we fed, but it wasn't really a lot. Growing up, we grew up in poverty. They did the best they can, and I appreciate that now that I'm older because I understand the sacrifices they made to feed us and to make that happen with all those kids in the house is tremendous. And I'm
Right.
very honored to have been in the place I was and the family I'm with.
Yeah,
And
it sounds like you come from some strong women.
yeah. Because it takes a lot to give your first baby away, especially, firstborn. So that took a lot of courage from my mom. And I just want to give her a shout out, Katara Johnson, for just all the sacrifices she made for me. And that's kind of been my motivation until this day.
Right, right. Now, coming up, would you say that you were a pretty good kid?
Um, well, I had some trauma I had to deal with and hurt, because my dad wasn't around, being sexually molested as a youth, just things like that, and fighting all the time. So I was pretty angry inside. And there was a lot of demons I had to face inside that I thought I didn't care about. I say I didn't care about it, but at the end of the day, if you say don't care about it, it's probably bothering you. And you're just
Right.
trying to block it out. So for all of you trying to heal, make sure you address that hurt. Don't try to brush it aside. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel.
Yeah, because a lot of, the people that I interview, and just trigger warning, because I am going to mention sexual assaults, they have been sexually assaulted or molested or, some kind of childhood trauma along those lines. And a lot of them, because it was trauma that wasn't dealt with, turned to alcohol and turned to drugs, to kind of numb that pain. And do you kind of think that hurt and that unresolved trauma kind of pushed you in that direction?
Yeah. And, it was just a way to just not think about things. Like I said, I was trying to cover up instead of face it. And I think that's the huge step of recovery. You got to be willing to face your hurt. You can't let it make you scared or be afraid of it your whole life because you'll never be able to get past it if you don't face it head first.
Right. Now I've had everything from I was a cheerleader and I started smoking meth to stay skinny, and I started using drugs with my parents. So, what introduced you? What's the story behind, getting into that drug and alcohol world for you?
It was because, I didn't realize I was hurting. And when I was getting lit, I thought I was cool and I thought I was happy. And then nothing in the world could bother me. Basically, I was just blocking out my feelings with liquor, weed, acid, shrooms, any kind of drugs I can get my hands on pretty much.
Right. Now, did it start in middle school, high school? Some people are elementary school. I mean, it's all over the place.
I smoked once in middle school, but it really took off like once I was in college and had the freedom and no one was there to tell me I can't do anything.
Right. See, that was me. A lot of people just assume that everybody kind of starts partying in high school.
Yeah.
No, for me, yeah, it was when, because I also had a very strong old school Scottish mother. So
Yeah, my mom did not play no games, so
there's
it's
no
definitely once I got to college, man.
Right, because now it's like we're off the leash, off the tether.
Yeah, it is because I was chasing the wrong things to feel the hurt. I was trying to be cool, thought I needed girls, thought I needed drugs, thought I needed to be that guy fighting at every party, just to realize like it's not the love I was seeking from them. I was trying to find love in myself, and that's what I needed to figure out. And like, don't seek love for them, find it in yourself, and that's the true way you're gonna be able to love someone else. You can't love someone else until you truly love yourself.
Exactly. That, it's, people say it's a cliche, but I have learned, because I hate cliches, I have learned cliches are cliches for a reason. Because they're absolutely 100% true. And that's why people say them. And if you don't love yourself and you can't take care of anybody else, if you don't take care of yourself, and it's so important. And there was something, oh, yes. A lot of people will talk about how, another big theme is, you mentioned fitting in. And a lot of us, we just had a bad self-image, or we didn't like ourselves, or some people just put it like, I was never comfortable in my own skin. Like I didn't know, it's not that I didn't have friends, but I felt like I didn't know how to connect with people. And the minute, like for me, the minute I found alcohol, it was like the magic elixir. And suddenly I didn't care if I was awkward or weird or whatever.
Yeah.
I fit in and I was the life of the party. Is that kind of how it went for you?
Yeah, pretty much the same way. Just trying to fit in, well, thinking I need to fit in. And little did I know, everyone wanted to be like me,
Right.
And that's always the crazy part. People doesn't know, like, you think you need to please them, but really, people are trying to be like you. And you don't even know it.
Right. It's like looking back is so much easier than when you're in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, okay, I hear that you came back from the dead.
Yeah. I took shrooms and acid one night, and I had a bad freak out, and I ended up fighting the cops for hours, getting tased, and I ended up dying twice in the ambulance. Didn't even know that. Woke up in the hospital the next day, was freaking out. I saw the cops, and I had to escape from the hospital. But I knew I did something bad, so I'm army crawling through the hospital, tucking and rolling, hiding under people's curtains until I get out the hospital.
Oh my God! So were there cops like outside the room, or?
I saw them like a ways away, and I had to make my move, because that was the first time I ever gotten in trouble with the law like that. So I didn't even know I was in trouble with the law. I just assumed something bad happened if the cops were there.
Right. Now, were you just like partying with friends? Were you out, or were you at college, or were you at home?
I was at a party. But everyone that you think your friends, those are the first people that left you.
Yeah.
As you learn that real quick, when things get out of hand and they don't know what to do, you find out who's really there for you or not. And that's where I really needed to realize that God is what I need. Because if he wasn't there for me tonight, I wouldn't be here today.
Right. So, okay, let's go back. Let's do this in a little more detail. So you go to this party, and I don't even know how much of this party you remember. Because if you don't remember dying, it's very unlikely that you remember a whole lot of this party. But so you did shrooms, and what else did you say?
A little vial of acid.
Okay, and then was there alcohol involved in it as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about an alcohol, shrooms, and acid cocktail, basically. Which for anybody that's watching that is amazed, that's normal. Like that is not uncommon for, people who are just really into the party scene, because I remember, now I'm older, so what was cool was, ecstasy and acid, but it would be that and alcohol, so mixing this stuff was not, and we're not thinking about, hey, we could die. We're only thinking about the party, what's right in front of us. And that's kind of the problem with those of us that use and drink, and we don't think even tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we're only thinking about the moment. Yeah. So what happened is, so my trip's starting to begin, and I'm trying to change the channel, and my friends walking around, they smiling. I was like, what the hell's going on? You start getting a little trippy, and then couldn't change the channel, and then like 3 demons showed up, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, and then I start trying to pray, and they make me start speaking a whole different language. So I had to start praying in my head because I know they couldn't control my thoughts. And then I stood up and I was like, I'm not afraid of you guys. And they shut my body down, and I had to watch myself fall through a window in slow motion head first.
Wow. And this is the trip, because mushrooms make you trip and acid makes you trip. So you are really out of it.
Yeah.
Now, did you actually fall through a window?
Yeah. And that's all I remember.
So after that, it was wake up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so you leave the hospital and the police never found you? Never came to the door or anything?
My mom called the hospital. She went down and we talked to police. We figured everything out. And then I ended up going in and out of court for like the next 2 years.
Oh, wow. So how long? So you were only in the hospital overnight?
Yeah.
So you died twice and left AMA, against medical advice.
Yeah, it's got up and left. Yeah.
Wow. You are one fortunate guy. One blessed guy. I'll tell you.
God definitely blessed me. I shouldn't have did all that.
He definitely knew you were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in and out of court for 2 years, but during these 2 years, how is your life changing?
I was a little bit embarrassed for myself, and I ended up speaking all over middle schools and high school, and just seeing all the kids doing drugs and the trauma they face, it just really hit home, because I really got to connect with them, and just seeing the hurt and what they're going through and how they're thinking that it was cool, it just really hurt my heart. And I think that was the biggest game changer for me, doing all that. It really hit home, and like, it's just not what I wanted to see my brothers or anyone I know do. So after seeing those kids, all the hurt, and they're seeing me help them out and showing them that like, this isn't cool, man. I cried a couple of times because they hurt my soul just to see like your kids doing these kind of drugs, man, at such a young age of development, And I think God knew what He was doing, and it put me in the position I'm in today. So I'm very grateful for it.
Right. So now, how do you go from dying twice in an ambulance to, the fastest UFC knockout, which I watched the video, and it's 7 seconds. But what people have to understand is it's really less than that, because the match.
That's what I'm saying. They robbed me, man. That should have been like 4 seconds.
Yeah, because everybody, you dance around first. It's not like, so knockout is like 4 seconds or less, because the second you fight, it's like
boom, it was over first. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the fastest. But I did my research, and I know that your knockouts have all been pretty quick.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But anyway, let me rewind. I'm just getting excited. So you go from dying twice in an ambulance. Now, while you're in and out of court and you're talking to these kids and everything, when did you start thinking about UFC? I guess, like, when did that become a thing? Because you were in college.
It was after that trip, actually, because I saw that I end up fighting like a bunch of people in the world, become like one of the baddest dudes like in the universe. So like I was like, damn, God save me. When I seen all this fighting, I was like, I think I'm supposed to fight. I was like, and I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna go to school one more year, try to get a national title, and I was gonna start fighting. And then the next year I went to school. They were trying to like hold me in there for an extra year, and I dropped out and I started fighting. But I told them I wanted 1 year, I want to be done. But they're trying to sit me out a year so they can win a title as a team the next year. And I was done being used, and I wanted to chase my own dream.
So you were on a team at college?
Yeah, I went to Notre Dame College after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were, what team were you on there?
Oh, the wrestling team.
Okay, because I'm like, obviously they don't have a UFC team.
So, yeah.
MMA team.
I wrestled in college for 4 years. So.
All right, and then when did you start training as a specific UFC?
It was 2017 I started fighting.
All right, now, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is you've been wrestling. So how do you go from wrestling to UFC? Like, how do you get there, I guess?
Okay.
So you left college and then what?
I found the MMA gym home where I lived. And first I wanted to start out grappling because I didn't want to be like piecing someone up, beating them up, and then just get submitted. You know, that's like the worst thing when you win a fight and this dude just catches you in a submission when he's losing the whole time. So I wanted to avoid that. And then after that, I started training stand up, and I went to an MMA gym called Sick Jitsu. And it took about probably 3 years to get to UFC for me for fighting.
Now, how do you get into UFC? I guess does somebody kind of recognize you, or
you got to get recognized. You got to show people that you're a finisher and you're an exciting fighter, and then you got to be at least one person that's on the radar that's super tough.
Right. So, how much better is your life from then to now?
It's honestly been a movie, man. I'm just so grateful to God for this all. Like, I cried a couple times just thinking about just where God brought me, man, because this is nothing short but a miracle, man. And I don't care if I get kicked out the UFC or anything. I'm just be able to reach people because I don't care about fighting, but if I can help just one person with my testimony and help them grow, then that's what it is for me, man. So that's why it's such a pleasure to be on this call here with you today.
Right. Now, where do you want to go from here as far as UFC?
I want to get a belt, use this platform to help fighters that can't advocate for themselves, get the payment they deserve in healthcare. And I gotta get the belt first so I can be heard, you know?
Right.
That's what God told me.
As you get bigger and bigger, because there's nowhere for you to go up right now. And as you get bigger and bigger, I really hope, that you'll still go back to those middle schools and go back to those high schools, especially when you get a belt, and go, hey, look, there's a different path.
Yeah, I already spoke this year at Spokane Falls Community College. We're setting up a couple speaking engagements at schools. Like I said, I'm trying to use this platform to bring as many people as I can to God and help people heal,
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And I'm in the school district. So if you're ever in South Carolina, let me know, because we'd love to have you at, our high schools and middle schools and everything. Before you go, if you could tell, let's say there's just a bunch of 14-year-olds watching you right now. If you want to tell them anything, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, honor your family. I know it might seem hard, like they're picking on you, but at the end of the day, it's something you need to hear. So don't just take that stuff for a grain of salt and brush it to the side. Make sure if something bothers you and you think it makes you mad, it's probably something you need to hear,
Right.
That's either from your brother telling you to be better, your mom, or anyone, your coaches. They just want the best for you. And I want the younger generation to know that. if it hurts you, it's probably something you need to correct and remember that.
Right. And don't keep things inside.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know, because that's just poison that grows and grows and grows. Well, Terrance, we're going to keep up with you. And, you know, when you get huge and famous, don't forget about us, you know, because
I won't, man. I
it's harder
love
to
you
get a
guys,
hold of
man.
you.
I plan on speaking at the biggest stages ever. I just don't want to fight. I want to be a champion on and off the mat.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to help as many people as I can. If I can just be that little light to help in their recovery, I'm here. You guys can reach out to me at T-Rex155 on Instagram or T-Rex155 on Twitter. So
Yeah.
feel free to reach out if you need help, you want to talk to someone, or if you just need that someone to feel so you can feel special. I'm here too. So
That's
because I feel
awesome.
like we're all equal. No matter how big I get, I'm always gonna have love for you guys.
Because I'll probably email you in about a year going, hey, let's catch up, let's update, you know, because people are going to want to know. And, you know, I just think this is awesome. And I really appreciate you taking, you know, a few minutes out of your, I know you're busy. I know you're all over, flying all over the place right now. And, you know, but thank you so much for being willing to be on here and just share some strength and hope and, you know, spread a little happiness. And
No problem, man. My pleasure, man.
no, thank you. Thank you. And
Honor every time.
so that's going to do it for us at the recovery scene. Thank you so much, everybody who's watching, everybody who watched on the live.